Seated.
Number 1, People versus Joseph Hall, case number 15807 FC.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Blake Catlin on behalf of the people.
Hey, good afternoon, Your Honor. James Gallagher with Legal Defense Group on behalf of Joseph Hall.
Good afternoon. Mr. Gallo. Podium.
Did you want Mr. Hall up here as well, Your Honor?
That's the usual
Yep.
way.
Thank you, Your Honor. At the appropriate time, we do have 2 victim impact statements, and then I would like to address the court as well.
Sure. Mr. Gallagher, have you and your client reviewed and discussed the pre-sentence report?
We have, Your Honor. I met with my client on Friday, December 4th at the jail. I reviewed the PSI with him. He read the entire PSI. There was only just one minor correction that I had. On the cover page, it has my name as Michael Gallagher.
Okay.
My name is James Gallagher. Michael is my middle name.
We'll change that. Any thing with respect to the guidelines?
There were no objections to the guidelines, Your Honor. And then at the
Mr.
appropriate time, I'd like to say some words on my
Sure.
client.
Mr. Hallam, do you have any additions or corrections or guidelines arguments?
No, Your Honor, I have none of those.
Okay, thank you. You may continue, Mr. Gallagher.
Your Honor, thank you. I think the court would agree it's quite rare that an individual would voluntarily elect to plead guilty to felony murder when they know that the sentence that the court will be handing down will be life in prison without parole. I can tell you, Your Honor, that since the first day I met Mr. Hall, he's expressed nothing but remorse since the day I met him and throughout the past several months. As a defense attorney, we have a, I guess, unique perspective in terms of our view of our clients that's different than others. But I can honestly tell you that he has expressed remorse throughout my relationship with him. And as the months progressed and as we talked about trial and trial strategy and going to trial, Mr. Hall was quite adamant with me that he had no interest in going to trial and that he didn't want to go to trial. When I asked him why he would not want to go to trial in a case like this, he stated 2 reasons. He said, one, it was, he felt that it was the right thing to do, and secondly, he told me that he did not want to put those involved and that have been impacted by what occurred, he did not want to put them through it again. And those were his 2 reasons as to why he told me that he wanted to plead guilty to felony murder, knowing that the court would be sentencing him to life in prison without parole. The final thing I want to say, Your Honor, because I know my client, I believe, wishes to make a statement at some point, is that obviously this has a great impact on the victims and those involved on that side, but it also has a big impact on Mr. Hall's family. I've been in contact with his one of his sisters quite a bit. I've talked to his mother. She lives in the Upper Peninsula. She was not able to make it today. They deeply care about him and they love him, and they have been greatly impacted by this as well. And they are also mourning as well. They are not going to be seeing Mr. Hall much in their lives. Mr. Hall, at the time that this occurred, he was married. He has a 2-year-old daughter. And so there are 2 sets of people here who have been greatly impacted, and I know that Mr. Hall feels terribly for both sides.
Thank you.
That's all I had.
Mr. Hallam.
Thank you. I would like to begin with the victim impact.
Sure.
Did you want us sitting down, Judge?
Yeah, please. afternoon, ma'am.
If you could state and spell your names respectively for both of you, please.
My name is Vickie Mae Pennywet, Vickie Mae Penewit.
Thank you. What would you like to say?
I just want him to know that he took everything from me and there's no bringing it back. Ever. And now we have to pay for him to live in prison the rest of his life. And my family has to pay for it. And that my child was innocent. And I was innocent. And John, it's not fair that I have to go the rest of my life without my child. I guess that's all.
Thank you. I understand. Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Vogel, and I am Vickie Pennywit's sister. And I'd like to start off with thanking the court for giving me the opportunity to speak today on the behalf of this senseless crime that Joseph Hall has committed. Let me start by saying that I could stand up here for a lifetime, and it is still not even going to come close to the actions, Joseph Hall, that you've caused our family. So much pain, hurt, and anger, and loss. A family you did not even know. But instead, I'm going to tell you what selfish, cowardly decisions that you chose on the early morning of June 13th, 2015. You have robbed us from so many memories. First, let me tell you a little of Timber Brown. Where to begin? Timber was a fun, loving 12-year-old little boy. Did you even know at that moment that you were killing a 12-year-old child? Would have it even mattered to you? Would have it made you stop? Those questions I often wonder. Timber would have helped anyone he could, anyone in need. Timber was that kind of a boy. He loved to please others and thought of others first. Timber was such a bundle of joy to be around. Timber loved to make others laugh, and he loved to laugh himself. Timber was hardworking and the happiest child I've ever seen. Timber loved to ride snowmobiles, dirt bikes, NASCAR, and most of all kayaking with his family. This past fall, it would have been Timber's first year of playing football. He was looking so forward to this. Mr. Hall, you have taken this. At a young age of 12, Timber had already endured the pain of losing his father at the age of 8 of a brain tumor. But even through the pain, Timber found comfort and joy with riding his bicycle to his father's grave to visit. In the spring, Timber always took pride in planting flowers at his graveside. This was the type of boy that Timber was, the type of boy you took from us. You have taken the opportunity for us to watch him grow into the fine young man we all knew he would be. You have taken this. We will never see Timber graduate high school or go to college and begin his career. We will never see Timber get married, have children, and so on. You have taken this from our family. Joseph Hall, at your own bloody hands, you killed Jonathan Brown, a young man at the beginning of his adult life. John loved life as much as his little brother Timber. The boys had a lot of the same interest, and Jonathan always looked out for Timber, his little brother, just as he always did that early morning of June 13th. John was coming to help Timber and Vickie when he heard their cries for help, but from your evil hands again you chose not to stop. You took Jonathan from us. John had so many talents that we will never see. You took that from us. Jonathan was hardworking, attending college. Everyone have spoken to had nothing but great things to say about John. So many milestones we will not be able to share. So many talents we will not be able to see. We will never watch John get married, start a family, and so on. Joseph Hall, you have taken this from our family. I don't know where to start when it comes to Vickie. Joseph, you have taken from us the happy, fun-loving, trusting wife, mother, sister, daughter, and friend that she was before this horrific morning of June 13th. You can't help but to see the pain in her when you see her. It's because you took her happy out of her life. Vickie has not had an easy life. At the age of 5, she lost her mother in an auto accident. This I often wonder why so many bad things happen to good people. Vicky struggles daily with the physical and emotional scars you have inflicted on her caused by the hands of evil. Why would you stab my sister over 14 times? Why? It sickens me to think of my little sister going through this nightmare over and over, and so much pain that I cannot fix. I want her heartache to end. I want to make it better for her, but I can't. I feel helpless. It's hard to say good morning or happy birthday because at your bad choices, Joseph Paul, you took her happy and good out of everything. You took her son. Her trust in humanity is lost. I just hope that one day her heartache will ease. You left Vicky and 4 other people for dead. You never once called 911 for help, and your disregard for human life. You are a person without a soul. You are filled with evil, and that, Joseph Hall, you will never be rehabilitated. You deserve the sentence handed down by the state of Michigan to spend the rest of your life in prison, and by all means never let out. The people would not be safe. You will snap again, just as you stated happened at the beginning of this nightmare that you caused. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, Your Honor.
You may.
Your Honor, just now you heard reference to the senselessness of this crime. I would suggest to the court that the only thing that outweighs the senselessness of this crime would be the savagery of this crime. I want the court to know, I know the court has reviewed the victim impact statements thoroughly before court. The other victims are in court. They don't wish to speak, but they are here. I would note, especially as it relates to Ms. Moore, who just testified, who lost her son, lost her stepson, Jonathan Brown. One of the points that I would have made to a jury was how hard she fought. Her DNA, or the defendant's DNA, was found underneath her fingernails. And I think that that's important to know. That we certainly will be continuously thinking about her. We believe that she can fight through this, and that she is a fighter, and we hope that she can make it through this very difficult time. And finally, we would like to thank the Michigan State Police troopers, Trooper Kleiss and Trooper Schmierheim. I apologize if I got that wrong. This really should have been 3 homicides. Ms. Moore was actually pronounced dead at one point in time. They responded to the scene. Their courageousness in going into that scene without knowing what they were encountering, I think really is a credit to their profession. Thank you.
Thank you.
And of course, we would ask Your Honor to follow the sentence.
Sure. Mr. Hall, is there anything you'd like to say before sentence?
There is, Your Honor. I'd like to start off, even though it doesn't mean anything, by apologizing to everybody that was affected by what happened. Just because drugs and alcohol doesn't make it right. If I could take it back, I absolutely would. I pray for John and Timber. I pray for their families, and I pray for God. I pray for forgiveness, even if it's not deserved. I accept any punishments I have coming to me. And I'd also like to just add for my co-defendant that he doesn't deserve the troubles that he's getting.
All right. Well, I must say that I've been doing this for a real long time, and when I heard about the facts of this case way back shortly after it happened, it was so troubling because it just seemed like it made no sense. And now, having, of course, much more detail, having read the detailed pre-sentence report, having heard your plea that you, when you pled guilty to these charges, I'm still as troubled as I was then, because I have never seen such a senseless and brutal crime as this, with no, I mean, you said drugs and alcohol, maybe that was it, but it's simply very, very, it's just troubling. I can't get my head around what you could have possibly been thinking. A person who had no criminal history in your background, whose purpose for being there was not, ostensibly, at least as far as we know, the original purpose was not to go there to seek some sort of revenge on somebody that you thought had aggrieved you, but you were there to apparently buy or steal some drugs, and encountered these people that you didn't know, and then just brutally murdered them. Probably this will be one of the most unusual and troubling cases that I've ever dealt with. So, in this particular case, as everyone knows, the legislature has determined what the sentence will be, at least with respect to the first 2 counts, and I will follow the recommendation of the probation department, beginning with count 1. The sentence is life in prison without parole, with credit for 174 days served. Count 2, life without parole, credit for 174 days served. Count 3, 225 months to 50 years, Michigan Department of Corrections, with credit for 174 days served. Count 4, 225 months to 50 years, credit for 174. Count 5, 225 months to 50 years, credit for 174 days served. And count 6, 13 years to 20 years, with credit for 174 days served. You may be entitled to appellate review of your conviction and sentence. If you're unable to afford an attorney to represent you on appeal, the court would appoint an attorney and furnish the attorney with portions of the transcript and record the attorney needs. Request for the appointment of an attorney must be made in writing, sent directly to the court at the address noted on the form you've been handed within 42 days. That's it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Numbers 11 and 12, People v.